A young boy has just had an extraordinary encounter with extraterrestrial beings visiting Earth, and now he's determined to uncover the truth behind their visit. The answer he uncovers will leave him stunned. In 1979, a man named Carl was driving home from work in Wrangell, Alaska. As he cruised along the road in his truck, something inexplicable happened. The truck belonging to his friend, driving ahead of him, suddenly got lifted into the sky. In a split second, their truck fell, crashing onto Carl's truck. Alarmed and worried, Carl immediately got out to check on his friend. At that moment, something incredible caught his eye. A UFO was hovering right above him. In a rush of panic, Carl made a break for it, sprinting into the nearby jungle. As he ran, he realized that the UFO was following him, staying just overhead. Suddenly, a beam of light shot down from the UFO, striking Carl. The beam began to lift him off the ground, rendering his body completely stiff. He could no longer move, his muscles frozen in place as the beam carried him upward. Fast forward to the present day, where a young man named Isaac Cypress arrives at the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Isaac is a talented scientist, working alongside his close friend, Beck. They decide to play a game. Beck uses NASA's satellites to send out a signal, and Isaac's challenge is to track it down. Isaac quickly finds the signal, but Beck reveals that this is not the one he had sent out. The two quickly realize that the signal originates from somewhere in Canada, a location that's curious because, according to the records, there are no registered satellites grounded there. Intrigued, Isaac sends out a copy of the signal to see if Beck can trace it later. That night, as Isaac continues working at his desk, his computer receives an unexpected signal from space. It's filled with strange, random code. Isaac is puzzled and eager to decipher its meaning. But soon, Isaac's therapist offers him some unexpected advice. He suggests that Isaac start keeping a video diary to track his thoughts and experiences. Following his advice, Isaac begins carrying a camera with him everywhere he goes. One afternoon, while filming his video diary after a hike, Isaac witnesses something unbelievable. A meteor crashes down near where he is sitting. Moments later, fighter jets roar into the sky, and sirens blare in the distance. Isaac quickly realizes that the entire area is about to be sealed off from the public. Determined to get closer to the crash site, Isaac hides in the bushes to avoid being spotted by the authorities. When he reaches the crash site, he is stunned to see a UFO hovering nearby. Isaac's heart races, and he pulls out his camera to record the UFO. But just as he starts filming, the UFO vanishes into thin air. Turning around, Isaac is startled to see an alien standing right behind him. Panicked, Isaac discreetly starts recording again. The alien stares at him for several long moments, seemingly studying him, before turning and walking away. Isaac, now trembling with fear, runs to escape, but halfway through his flight, he suddenly blacks out. 3 days later, Isaac awakens in an entirely different location. Confused and disoriented, he checks his camera, only to find that he still has footage of the alien, and even footage of himself being lifted off the ground. To his shock, there's also a strange mark on his arm. At home, Isaac sits on his bed, deep in thought. He stares at the TV, but as he watches, it suddenly disappears right before his eyes. Surprised and confused, Isaac reaches out toward where the TV was, only to find his hand passing through an invisible barrier, almost as if he is reaching into another dimension. He focuses his mind on the spot, and sure enough, the TV reappears. Isaac realizes that he is somehow causing the objects around him to disappear and reappear, as if he's manipulating them across dimensions. He experiments further, using his camera to confirm his discovery. Next, Isaac goes to a doctor for an X-ray of his arm, worried about the strange mark. The results are baffling. The X-ray reveals that his arm bone is fractured, but the fracture is perfectly straight, as though it had been sliced with a knife. Isaac is perplexed. How could this happen? What could have caused such a precise break? When Isaac arrives at work, he eagerly shows Beck his newfound ability to make objects disappear into another dimension. However, Beck is unable to see these objects shift. It's as if Isaac is the only one who can perceive the changes. Isaac also shows Beck the footage of the alien, and Beck is understandably shocked. Isaac suggests they should share the footage with their other co-workers, but Beck warns against it, fearing the potential consequences. Frustrated by Beck's hesitation, Isaac takes matters into his own hands. He uploads the footage to an online platform, tagging it with the caption, "Alien abduction footage." The next morning, Isaac is woken up by a call from a news anchor who wants to do a story on the video he uploaded. Isaac quickly checks the video and is stunned to find that it has gone viral, receiving nearly 1 million views overnight. Curious, Isaac scrolls through the comments section. The reactions are mixed. Some viewers believe the footage is real, while others are convinced it's a hoax. As the day goes on, Isaac is bombarded with calls from news outlets, magazines, and journalists, all eager to interview him about the footage he shared. Isaac's life is about to change forever. What started as a simple game and a series of strange occurrences has now propelled him into the center of an international mystery. But what's really happening to Isaac? Is he just a victim of bizarre circumstances, or has he become part of something much larger and far more dangerous than he could ever have imagined? The truth may be more shocking than he ever could have predicted. Finally, Isaac gives in and agrees to appear on a news channel. During the interview, Isaac shows the footage of his abduction, hoping to share the truth with the world. He believes that this will finally expose what really happened to him. But instead of receiving support, the interviewer mocks him. She suggests that it's all a little too convenient, that Isaac just happened to have a camera ready when an alien encounter occurred. Over the next few days, Isaac's story spreads across the media. Some people believe him, rallying behind his tale, while others claim he's simply seeking attention. The division grows. Half the world supports him, while the other half accuses him of faking the whole experience. Slowly, more and more people come to the conclusion that Isaac must be lying. Feeling isolated, Isaac turns to the internet. He begins researching other abduction stories, looking for similarities to his own. He finds several accounts that seem eerily familiar, stories of people who have had encounters much like his. But there's one story that stands out above the rest. A woman named Sarah. Isaac reaches out to her, eager to connect. They agree to meet. When they meet, Isaac explains that alien encounters have been happening for a long time. He points to ancient paintings, to evidence left behind in history, and even mentions several scientists who have claimed to receive strange signals from space. Sarah listens carefully, then asks if he's heard of the 1979 alien abduction in Wrangell, Alaska. Isaac admits that he hasn't. Sarah tells him about a man named Carl, who was abducted in 1979. Carl tried to go public with his story, but soon after, he mysteriously disappeared. Isaac's interest is piqued, and he wonders if there is a connection between Carl's disappearance and his own abduction. Determined to find answers, Isaac decides to send copies of his footage to several online platforms that specialize in reporting alien abductions. As he's putting the footage in the mailbox, a man named Keith approaches him. Keith introduces himself as a writer and expresses his sympathy for Isaac. He believes that the media has treated Isaac unfairly and that he deserves a chance to tell his side of the story in full detail. Isaac is unsure, but after thinking it over, he agrees to meet with Keith. The next day, Isaac arrives at Keith's office. Keith suggests a way to validate Isaac's story. He wants Isaac to take a lie detector test. Isaac agrees. Keith prepares the equipment and starts asking Isaac questions about the abduction. As the test goes on, Isaac answers truthfully, and the machine shows no signs of deception. Keith's expression changes as the results come in, growing tense and stressed. Without warning, Keith leaves the office abruptly. When Isaac follows him, he sees two men dressed like agents walking down the hallway. Before Isaac can react, the agents approach him and he tries to escape, but they shoot him, knocking him unconscious. Isaac wakes up to find himself being dragged by two androids. He's pulled into a white room, and as he struggles, he sees that Sarah is also being dragged in. The room is sterile, cold, and disorienting. On a screen in front of Isaac, Keith appears, though now his real identity is revealed. He introduces himself as Agent Graves. He informs Isaac that they need to assess his level of exposure. Various objects are brought in front of Isaac, and he's instructed to focus on them. But nothing happens. Isaac remains unresponsive. Frustrated, Isaac stops cooperating. He demands to know where he and Sarah are and what's happening. Graves asks Isaac if he knows anything about Carl. Isaac, now more wary than ever, lies and says he knows nothing. Suddenly, Isaac breaks free from his restraints and fights off the androids. He manages to escape, running through the facility in a desperate attempt to find a way out. As he runs, he spots Sarah in a nearby room. Somehow, Isaac manages to open the door with his mind. He and Sarah rush out of the building, the androids firing at them from behind. But they manage to evade capture, escaping into the unknown. Once outside, they realize they're in Costa Rica. Graves orders his men to track Isaac and Sarah, believing that they'll try to find Carl, and in doing so, lead them to him. Isaac is determined to find Carl. He tells Sarah that if he can just get access to the internet, he'll be able to locate Carl and speak to him directly. They make their way to a local restaurant, where a woman points them in the direction of a man named Zed. Zed is known for his skills as a hacker and might be able to help them gain access to the internet. When they meet Zed, they explain their situation, but before they can discuss much further, the androids arrive, searching for them. Zed quickly takes them to his house in the jungle, where he has an untraceable internet connection. On the way to Zed's house, Zed explains that the androids are part of the International Space Research Program, ISRP, a top-secret agency working on alien-related projects. Zed gets to work, using all of his hacking skills to search for any trace of Carl in online records. But no matter what he tries, there is no evidence of Carl. Isaac begins to wonder, is Carl still out there? Or has something more sinister happened to him? They search deeper, but every lead seems to end in a dead end. Isaac feels more desperate than ever to uncover the truth. As they continue their search, one question lingers in his mind. What happened to Carl? And is he the key to understanding everything that's happening to them? With every new revelation, Isaac gets closer to understanding the bigger picture. But the more they uncover, the more dangerous their journey becomes. And the question remains, will Isaac find Carl before the ISRP catches up to him? Or will they all become part of a much larger conspiracy that stretches far beyond what they ever imagined? The truth is out there, but finding it could cost them everything. Curious signals, once a mystery, become a fascinating puzzle when Carl and Beck, in their pursuit of answers, manage to hack into NASA's servers. Their goal? to trace the origin of this strange, mysterious signal. What they discover leads them to Carl's location and a connection to something far beyond Earth. In a moment of unexpected tension, Zed reveals that there's a working laptop in his house that could serve as their communication bridge. Zed makes a video call, but Carl, initially cautious, rejects the invitation. Zed, however, doesn't give up easily. Using his expertise, he hacks into Carl's laptop, and before Carl can shut it down, Isaac jumps in with a shocking revelation. He has sent a copy of Carl's signal out into space, and, to their amazement, he received a response. That very night, Carl demands to see the response. Isaac, eager to show him, sends the transmission over. Carl, with a sense of urgency, begins decrypting the seemingly random code. What he uncovers is beyond anything they could have imagined. An alien voice speaks, giving a precise time and location. The aliens will arrive at Carl's house in 5 days. After hearing this, Carl abruptly shuts down his computer. Isaac insists they must go to Carl's house, but Sarah, filled with hesitation, is unsure. Zed, on the other hand, can hardly contain his excitement, eagerly asking if he can join the mission. Utilizing his contacts in Costa Rica, Zed arranges a private plane to fly them to Canada. Meanwhile, Graves has been tracking Isaac and Sarah, suspicious of their every move. He has placed trackers on both of them and has been following them, shadowing their journey. After a long, tiring flight, Zed, Sarah, and Isaac finally reach Carl's place. At first, Carl is wary of them, but upon learning of their intentions, he reluctantly opens his door, welcoming them into his home. Carl begins to explain his own harrowing story. After his abduction, he was taken by the ISRP, Intergalactic Space Research Program. However, he managed to escape, going into hiding for years. For the last 2 decades, he has worked tirelessly, trying to reconnect with the aliens. He built programs to decode alien signals and translate them into a language humans could understand. Carl reveals that he has a way to communicate with them when they arrive, giving him hope that he can finally uncover the truth about their existence. Over the next 2 days, as they wait for the aliens' arrival, Sarah and Isaac find time to bond. They spend moments together, walking through the woods and developing a deeper connection. Meanwhile, Zed grows more curious about Carl's equipment, investigating every corner of the house. The day arrives when the aliens are supposed to make their appearance. As Isaac feels the ground tremble, Carl calmly explains that the aliens are near. Isaac heads out into the woods to find them. Sure enough, he encounters the aliens and asks them what their intentions are. Without hesitation, they sit down together with Carl's translation device activated. The aliens explain that they have mastered every area of science, from medicine to physics to technology. But now, they seek something greater, a deeper understanding. They are searching for the origin of the universe. Isaac, full of questions, asks why the aliens are studying humans. The aliens respond by revealing that humans possess a unique aura, one that can be measured. In a surprising twist, the aliens show Isaac a vision of Jesus Christ. They ask him, "Who is this man?" Isaac, confused, questions why they are so interested in him. The aliens reveal that this figure is central to the universe's origin, and there seems to be a connection between him and the aura present within humans. Sarah, troubled by the marks on her and Isaac's arms, asks about them. The aliens pull out a device and, with a swift motion, slice open Sarah's arm. A tracker falls out. The aliens admit that they had implanted these trackers in them for their own records. Isaac, now more perplexed than ever, reflects on what the aliens said. In your world, seeing is believing. But after all our advancements, we have learned that believing is actually seeing. Before Isaac can fully process this, Graves and his men appear outside, demanding Carl come out. It is revealed that Graves holds a personal vendetta against Carl. Years ago, when Carl was abducted, the truck in front of him had Graves's father in it, and Graves has never understood why his father was never found. Desperate for answers, Graves orders his men to shoot Carl. Sarah, unable to stand by, rushes to his side, but she is shot too. At that critical moment, the alien beings tell Isaac to focus and use his senses. Isaac, unsure of what's happening, concentrates, and in an instant, the entire house is transported to a different dimension. Everyone is now safe, away from Graves and his men. The aliens use their powers to heal Sarah and Carl, restoring them to full health. With a calm yet powerful presence, the aliens lead them away, walking straight past Graves and escaping into their UFO. 6 months pass. Isaac and Sarah have found peace, starting a new life on a distant island. They are now a couple, living quietly away from the chaos. Meanwhile, Zed and Carl have established their own underground tech agency, working together on projects that defy conventional understanding. As for Graves, his unlawful actions at Carl's house have cost him everything. He has been fired from the ISRP. Isaac continues to document his experiences, recording video diaries regularly, reflecting on the strange and wondrous events that have shaped his life. The story ends here. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this recap, be sure to like our channel and subscribe for more content like this. Also, let us know in the comments what movie you'd like us to recap next. We'd love to hear from you.